Have you ever stood at the edge of something difficult, knowing it would be easier to turn back than to step forward? In quiet valleys and wide lands, courage is not always loud. Sometimes it begins as a small choice made by someone who doubts their own strength. This is a journey shaped by effort, patience, and the ground beneath uncertain feet. Before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Long ago, in a valley where the river had grown thin and the fields had lost their color, there lived a boy named Iron. He was quick in movement, but careful in commitment, often stepping away when work grew heavy. He did not believe he was meant for hard paths, and so he chose the easier ones whenever he could. The people of the valley worked each day beneath a pale sky, their hands busy but their hearts uneasy. The soil no longer answered their labor, and worry moved quietly from home to home. Iron watched them, helping when tasks were light, drifting away when effort demanded more than comfort. One evening, beneath an old fig tree, the elders spoke of seeds kept far beyond the broken land. These seeds, they said, could restore life to the valley, but the path to them crossed ground that shifted and split without warning. No one answered the call at first. The silence pressed heavily on the air. From the edge of the gathering, Iron felt something stir within him. Before fear could speak louder than hope, he stepped forward. His voice surprised even himself. At dawn, he was given a small pouch and the blessing of the village, and he walked away from the only home he had ever known. As the fields faded behind him, the land grew rough and restless. Stones slid beneath his feet, and the ground seemed alive with movement. Fear slowed his steps. Turning back felt close and tempting, but each time he paused, he remembered the dry river and the tired faces of his people. He learned to test the earth before trusting it. When stones shifted, he waited. When paths vanished, he searched patiently. Progress was slow, but it carried him forward. By evening, a deep chasm blocked his way, its depths filled with whispering wind. Nearby lay a fallen tree, heavy and worn. Dragging it toward the gap strained his arms and burned his lungs. More than once it slipped from his grasp. Each failure tested his resolve, yet each return to the task strengthened it. When the tree finally rested across the chasm, Iron crossed with shaking legs and steady focus. Cold night air wrapped around him as he slept among stones. Doubt returned in the dark. He wondered if courage meant never being afraid. As the stars faded, he understood something quietly important. Fear had not stopped him. It had taught him to move with care. Rain followed him in the days ahead, turning dust to mud and paths to traps. He slipped once and hurt his leg, binding it with torn cloth and steady hands. He no longer rushed. Each step became thoughtful, each movement earned. Near the far edge of the broken land, he met an old woman gathering roots. She walked as if listening to the ground itself. Without many words, she showed him where the earth held firm. By watching her, Iron learned more than he could have been told. Beyond the broken stones lay a sheltered valley, rich and quiet. There, seeds were placed into his pouch, heavier than their size suggested. When he turned to thank the woman, she was already gone, leaving him alone with his task and his strength. The journey home tested him even more. His body was tired, but his steps were sure. When the land shifted, he adjusted. When danger appeared, he planned. Each challenge met him, and each time he met it with patience earned through effort. When the fig tree came into view again, the valley gathered to greet him. Iron returned worn but steady, and he placed the seeds into waiting hands before joining the work without being asked. Together they pressed soil, carried water, and waited. Time passed. Rain returned. Green rose from brown. The river deepened, and the valley breathed again. Iron worked each day, not because he feared stepping away, but because he understood the value of staying. One evening, beneath a gentle sky, he sat beside his grandmother. No words were needed. The journey had changed him. He had crossed uncertain ground and found firmness within himself. Every hard path teaches something the easy road never can. Strength grows through patience, and courage is built one careful step at a time. When you face shifting ground in your own life, remember that steady effort can turn doubt into confidence. Move forward even slowly and trust that the ground will meet you. Comment below what lesson stood out to you.